Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. friends of
Hola,
all
hola.
ages. Welcome to the Grand Central Sports Hub on this Thursday. This is Thursday. Every week I start like this. I'm like, I don't know what fucking day it is, and it's our show.
Try getting a fucking job. You'll know what day it is.
This evening we have Diamond Dan from Hamilton, Massachusetts. We have Mr. Soriano, who's got some kind of truck racing going on in front of his Utah home.
It's a fucking Subaru. They're all
with
Subarus
with
out
like
here.
fucking 25 exhausts on it or something. Matthew, with the members only jacket this evening, what is it? 40 degrees?
It is 59, but the sun is dropped below the mountains, so my only heat source is gone. Plus my patio heater that fell off the truck fell over in a windstorm, so I need to get a new.
You need to find another truck.
You need to do
karma came full circle on that one.
Good luck finding one of those, man.
Yeah. We're gonna have to drive around after Prime Day deliveries start coming out.
Yeah, you can get it delivered after a Chromebook in March.
but massive classic fashion statement from you with the members only jacket this evening. My grandfather had one of those. That is legit, right?
Yes, I am. I have not got my AARP card yet, but
You got a prostate exam, though.
I did get a prostate exam today. So,
Lucky you.
yes, it was everything I had hoped for, and I cannot wait till 43 rolls around so I can go again.
Miami Ryan, speaking of fashion statements, I don't know what the fuck you're wearing tonight.
Hey, man, this is the Hialeah special. We're going all out tonight.
Oh my God! But hey, listen, we have all corners. We've got a vast majority of the country covered on this show this evening, so we can bring perspective from the subtropical Florida, the soon-to-be frozen Salt Lake, the also soon-to-be frozen Massachusetts, as well. So we have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of nights ago, the Jets cut Le'Veon Bell, one of the Jets being the Jets, and he has decided and made a decision where he's going to go after for his next adventure. Dan, you have the latest information for us?
He's going to Kansas City.
He's going to Kansas City.
There you go. We broke the story after 15 other people did.
Broke the story. So
just what Kansas City needs, another dynamic running back.
That's what I was going to ask you. What does this mean for the NFL, the league, and Le'Veon Bell going forward?
It means that Le'Veon Bell's probably going to beat up his girlfriend in a hotel pretty soon.
And he can go play for the Yankees and be the closer.
It really goes, people are obviously the Jets and the Giants are both having their share of issues this year. But something like this really goes to show what a total clusterfuck the Jets are, in that you have, maybe an all-pro, a Pro Bowl running back at the back end of his career, who's still serviceable on a team that has no excitement and a quarterback with a busted shoulder. And, instead of being, of course, the league essentially waited out the Jets here. Instead of overpaying for a trade, they decided to just wait, and then they fucking outright released him, which is just a clown show. Like, a real team would have kept him on the bench and made him sit there until the end of the year, even though they would still pay him. But that way he couldn't go out there and play. I don't know who you would compare that to, but I would think that the Jets would know better. But what do I know?
Well, how much guaranteed money is he still getting from the Jets regardless?
Probably Bobby Bonilla money, for all I know.
Oh,
It's not. Listen, we'll talk about that in next summer. So
speaking of money, the Kansas City Chiefs have now moved the Super Bowl line to plus 360 for them to win the Lombardi Trophy.
I assume, Mr. Soriano, that would make them leaders in the clubhouse.
Yes, they are by far the favorites.
I'll tell you what he won't help Kansas City with, especially after watching this week, the defense. There's some concerns there, right?
I don't know. I mean, you take a week 4 game, against a halfway decent opponent. I mean, I'm not I mean, the Bills have a very high and effective offense, and they got stuffed by, the Titans, who are now the surprise of the AFC. But unbeknownst, but it really shouldn't be. I mean, Derrick Henry, it's like every year you go through the same thing with Derrick Henry where people seem to think he never existed. And I mean, he gave three amazing years at Alabama. The guy is 6'8". He's a truck. And it's like every time it's like, oh my God, look at this guy, Derrick Henry. It's like, yeah, we know. And then, it was very satisfying to see him stick the shit out of Josh Norman.
The memes have been amazing.
Speaking of bums on the back end of their career. But, I don't know. What were we talking about? Football? What were we just talking about? I lost my train of thought.
I don't worry about the Chiefs defense because realistically, if Mahomes can do his thing, who's gonna
outscore?
Who's gonna be able to keep up with them on a week in and week out basis or in the Super Bowl? The only team Cowboys offense has got a broken leg.
The only team I can think of is the Seattle Seahawks, and I mean, Russ is playing out of his brain right now. I mean, the guy is just throwing, moving through. Like he's getting better now that he's sort of aged out, I guess, of like a prime quarterback, if you will. But I mean, comparatively offensively, there's really nobody else that can hang.
Russ is making all of his team around him better. I think he doesn't have weapons on paper as good as Mahomes, but he makes them look as good as Mahomes. Russ is really elevating the entire team, I think, to that level.
What's interesting about that, I had a chance to spend some time with one of his wide receivers not too long ago through a work event in my real life. And he said the same thing. And, the thing is that Russell Wilson is about 4 inches shorter than most of his linemen. So when he's moving, it obviously improves his ability to see the field and why he isn't a pure pocket passer because he can't see over his linemen. And to think about that and, his ability now at his, 35?
Yeah.
I mean,
as he gets older,
really?
Wow.
I'll check. As he gets older, though, he's not declining. He's the type of quarterback that normally you would think he'd decline.
You know what, though? He's never taken a beating, though. He's always had good protection.
Thank you. And that brings me to the
he's 31.
Okay, but he's not young, but he's not in his first, half of his career. He's in his back half of his career, right?
Turned 32 on Thanksgiving.
But they also have a defense problem. They absolutely have a defense problem as well.
Well, but again, what does it matter if they can go out there and drop a 50 burger?
But if they end up playing the Chiefs at some point, oh my God!
It's just gonna be an 80-point game on boy. It's gonna be nuts.
Take the over.
Yeah,
the over is gonna be 97.5. It's like like Vegas and stupid.
It's gonna be like these NBA games in the bubble, right? Every over under was 230 points.
You know what's amazing? We're talking about some great football teams, and it's truly exciting. What did we talk about over the weekend? And we often talk about during the games. It's amazing to watch teams that can actually do stuff. Chiefs, Bills, Seahawks, and we're stuck with New York sports. And this will bring us to the core of this show tonight, talking about New York sports in general. But I hate to remind you all, now that the Yankees are out, baseball's over, we don't have hockey or basketball until further notice, at least January. We're stuck with the fucking football teams.
That's what Red Zone was invented for.
But from a New York sports perspective, this is going to be a really dark winter that we've never seen before.
I beg to differ.
But they're the only game in town. Even though the hockey teams and the basketball teams have not been championship caliber for a long time, they've at least been playing, right? And you have other things to watch. We're stuck with the Giants and the fucking Jets. There's nothing else.
You can pick up English football. I mean, they're still going over there, or
English soccer. Is there rugby going on? I don't know.
There seems to be some sort of idiot savant when it comes to gambling on soccer.
I know, soccer.
Yugoslavian soccer.
Yeah, Iranian soccer. No, that was the tennis player. No, but it's a bad time, and we're gonna get into the New York sports teams, ranking them, and all of the major.
Can we just follow the curve of your, of your thinking here? In that 4 months ago, we were like, "Fuck, there are no sports. This is the worst thing ever." And now we get every sport back, and we go through several playoff series, and
here we are,
championships awarded, and now you're complaining again.
Why can't we complain? This is what we do. But I'm Jewish. I kvetch a lot. You know.
Waiter, taste the soup.
Okay?
Well, what do you mean?
But it's not acceptable that this is the state of this great great state, great city of New York City sports teams, and it's unacceptable. Is what I'm trying to get at here. You can't.
It's disgusting.
You can't really say it's okay, Dan.
The silver lining to this whole thing, at least for me, and I think for all of us to an extent, is that if our teams are going to suck, at least we live in the golden age of sports betting, and we can. I mean, I'm fucking interested in every game because, I've got last weekend I had two different 3-team parlays going on, and so I was all over the place yelling at the fucking TV.
Let's talk about it. I have some parlays. I have some stuff. So DC has a sports gambling on their app that you can do. So I was in DC yesterday and I did some parlays. I want to get your instant reaction on what I did and see what you think.
You must have bet on the Rays last night.
Duh.
You did, didn't you?
No, yeah. So I did a 2-team parlay. Guess which 2 teams? Guess which 2 teams?
The Rays and the Braves.
Yeah.
You cheap motherfucker.
Fucking 11-run first inning.
I saw that and I was like, you motherfucker. Unbelievable. All right, listen. So Jaguars getting 3.5, Cardinals giving 2.5, Patriots giving 9. So Jaguars getting 3.5 from Detroit, Cardinals getting 2.5 from Arizona. Cardinals getting 2.5 from Dallas, and Patriots giving 9 against Denver.
That's if Bill Belichick isn't giving someone COVID to avoid having to fucking play again.
Yeah, but what's his nut is back this week.
Yeah, Newton.
Yeah.
And who's the quarterback for the Broncos? His name is escaping me.
They said the rookie's back.
Drew Lock.
The rest of their team is still hurt.
I would, granted they're playing the Patriots, but I mean, I would let the ripping kid go again. I mean, he was dynamite against whoever it was they played on.
Yeah.
Sunday night a couple weeks ago. I mean, he looked good. I don't know much about the Broncos, but I think that's a pretty decent parlay. I mean, 9 points is 9 points, but
I think the Cardinals
for the stars.
I think the Cardinals, Dallas. I felt pretty good about
the fucking Cowboys, man. The Giants, are the Giants, right? But I mean, you can say what you want about the officiating in the Giants game, but really, the Giants should have scored 50 points in that game.
The Giants beat themselves as much as that ref beat them.
Yeah, but I mean, take the real dagger there. I mean, it's the show we've seen over and over again. It's like going to the movies to watch the same fucking thing over and over again, like watching Deep Impact or some shit, because exactly when the meteor is gonna fucking hit Earth.
There are actually some really slim lines out this week.
Well, it's Thursday,
So
can I finish my point? Was that as soon as the Giants got that 4th down call back, you knew that game was fucking over.
Oh, I know. And you knew they weren't going to convert on the last drive. And we don't have. We've seen this, as you said about the Yankees. We've seen this story. We've seen this movie plenty of times. And
I don't know how many games have you sat there where the Giants pretend to be competitive and somehow are within a 3-point margin of a team that is better than them. And then they get the ball with less than 2 minutes left and hand it right back and give up a field goal and walk off the field.
Through 3 different head coaches, 2 different GMs, and 2 different starting quarterbacks, we've seen this movie countless times.
Yeah.
4 head coaches.
Okay, you want to count Tom? You can count Tom.
But
you're right. The last couple of years. Yeah, you're right.
The question is with Danny Dimes was last year a fluke, or was what everybody was bitching about after Gettleman's first draft or second draft really accurate? Because
still can't judge him.
That's bullshit. 31 turnovers in 17 games.
This isn't.
He's not.
He gets 3. In the wrong direction. He's getting no. I don't disagree with that. I'm not willing to say that he's a bust yet. I'm not pulling the plug like Haskins got the plug pulled. I'm not doing that yet.
That's because Ron Rivera. What? I don't know why Ron Rivera hates him so much.
I know, and they're not even letting him in the. What does he have? Some mystic illness?
There you go. That's what the Jets should have done with Le'Veon Bell. Is made him sit there with his, holding his jock. They get the RG3 treatment.
There must be more to the Haskins story in the locker room behind the scenes that we don't know about his makeup and the way he is. And the
I'm
way
sure
he
there
is.
is.
Not
There
like
always
riverboats.
Right. I mean, there has to be more. There has to be more to this. You can't just and it's,
I mean, the fact that they put a guy that was almost paralyzed 3 years ago on the field against a halfway decent defense is beyond me.
I love
they don't get hit.
I love Alex.
That's beyond a risk to me. Like
that was oof. Yikes.
I mean, I saw the pictures of what that guy's leg looked like, and it's not good.
Kind of the way Dak's ankle looks.
The Giants need to go out and either get a bridge quarterback, or they need to just say fuck it.
Tank for Trevor.
So, but Mr. Soriano, what if Danny Dimes is the bridge quarterback?
Okay,
probably is.
Then fucking tank it, because Saquon is hurt. It's a shitty
don't
season
get me started
anyway.
on that. That's another fucking issue.
I have a question. I have two things. Either the Giants can tank for Trevor Lawrence, but let's say they don't get him and the Jets get him. If the Jets pick Trevor Lawrence, would you go and take Darnold?
No, you take the kid from Oregon or Oregon State or whatever.
You would still draft the quarterback. You could have a top 3 pick. So I guess
he's playing in one game this year to ensure that he has draft eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going in the top 3.
I really wish the Giants had Justin Herbert.
Well, they could have Kyler Murray, right?
They could have either one.
They, tell me what a system quarterback looks like. I'll show you Bruce Gettleman's ass.
But to the end of the story here for the Giants, and we keep beating a dead horse, but it doesn't matter who the fuck the quarterback is. If they refuse to upgrade the offensive line, you are not going. And look at Sam Darnold. So, look at that poor guy.
To the point about the offensive line, right? It's not good, and it collapses from the outside in. This has been the story for the Giants over the last 5 years. So you don't have a quarterback that can move side to side. When he's pressured, Jones moves backwards, which is
know where to go.
Eli maneuver where he backs up, throws off his back foot, and instead of the ball going out of bounds, it goes right into the corner.
He doesn't have the arm to be able to fucking pull off those.
But
he's
the
receivers, he's
got
out
the
there.
legs. Jones has the legs. He doesn't know where to go. He has no instincts. He has no football IQ. But he's got
Duke,
dude. But we've been saying
football
that
IQ
since
is
the
different.
Than, You were the one that tried to back me off the cliff when I was bitching about this during the draft.
It's just not good.
Anybody could have drafted Saquon. They could have not made a change, and anybody could draft Saquon.
When it happened, or to be fair, when it happened, I know I had no problem with Saquon. I was excited. I wanted Saquon. To be fair, you can't go back there. You can't go back.
No. I'm not criticizing that. What I'm saying is you cannot give Gettleman. Jesus Christ! I think that was the name of the Hasidic in The Sopranos ran the hotel.
Gettleman?
I think it was. No, it was Titleman.
That one.
Titleman. It was Titleman.
Cousins.
Anyway, yeah, they're related. You see my cousin. He runs the Giants. He gets you tickets. He gets you good seats. Anyway, the fucking guy. Anybody could have fucking drafted Saquon. It was the right move.
Yeah, I know.
He hasn't done a fucking good job since.
No, you know what? I wouldn't say it's that he hasn't done a good job. He hasn't been healthy enough to get
you mean the
program.
Gettleman.
I'm not GM.
Gettleman.
Oh, Gettleman. Yeah, fuck. Gettleman. Let me try to be nice here for a second. Gettleman's time in this league ended 10 years ago. The worst friggin' decision of many bad decisions over the last 10 years that this team has made was to bring him on in the hopes and dreams that he could do anything like he did in Buffalo. What, 30 years ago almost now?
Did he draft McCaffrey in Carolina?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He got Cam. He's got Cam on his roster there, but I just don't understand what his approach is. Like, I mean,
I don't think he understands.
I mean, where the weaknesses in the team are, and maybe that has to do with a lack of leadership at the top, a lack of direction.
Well, there's no leadership in the top anyway. I mean, that was the big fucking drama before COVID. Giants ownership was at a friggin' impasse.
Yeah. And I mean, Mara is not his dad. John Mara is not Wellington Mara, and Steve Tisch could he'd rather be showing up in the Entourage movie than have anything to do with this team.
Yeah.
I actually think the Joe Judge hire was a good hire. At first, I was like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" But that's probably the only independently intelligent move he made.
Said it. Listen, Giants.
How many wins does Joe Judge have in the NFL right now as a head coach?
I was talking to our friend Seth earlier today, and there's a big difference between the way the Giants and Jets are set up right now. The Giants go out, and I feel like for what they have on their roster, and again, the roster sucks. They are playing with a purpose, and they are making an effort, and at least there's something out there. The Jets, on the other hand, have a fucking schmuck on the sidelines who has no idea what the hell's going on, and they are just lost.
Pull up my meme. Hurry up.
I don't know where. If you emailed it, I gotta go find it.
The
I
last
got 8,000 tabs open here. Sorry.
The last good hire that the Jets made as a head coach was
Bill Parcells.
Well, Parcells, but then what's the fuck's his name?
Schottenheimer. Was he there?
No, Tony Dungy.
That, you know what though? Yeah, and actually,
Rex.
and that was something I was going to bring up on this. Here's the thing: there's three different eras of the Jets, right? There was the fluke back in the '60s, and then there was the dead period, and then there was the time when Leon Hess was actually really invested in the team and wanted to get it together, and just kept getting dealt the shitty hand. He brought the coaches in. He got the talent in.
People got hurt every year. Yeah, things happen.
They just never got it together because you remember in '98 against Baltimore, they almost had Baltimore.
Yeah, they had some bad luck, and then they did some stupid shit.
They went to the AFC Championship game with Rex. Talked about that here, and that was with Mark Sanchez. I mean, if Rexy could make that happen, like I think he was just done. He was ready to lick some toes and get on with it. But it's like. Again, he probably has no support, and Rex is like, I can make more money and have more fun going on TV.
He was ready to give his wife out to Sanchez.
I mean, what sucks for him is he's going to have to live for the rest of his life with a tattoo on his arm of his wife wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey. Like,
very, very strange. Very strange.
I mean, that's the weirdest fucking shit.
That's the other butt fumble that no one else got to see.
Oh God!
I mean, that's weirder than Adam Schefter living in a fucking 9/11 victim's house.
Well, yeah. Listen. I did a second parlay. Hold on. I did a second parlay. So that was my first parlay. Let's get back to gambling. We can all agree with gambling.
I'm going to make one recommendation when this is over, but please proceed.
Dolphins giving 8.5 against the Jets. Titans giving 4 against Houston. And the Giants giving 2.5 against the Washington football team.
Wait, the Giants are giving?
Yeah.
Oh, Giants I would take the Redskins.
Giants are going to win that game.
Where is
no way?
It's in
the Redskins are going to win. The Redskins are going to win.
What's the number one rule? Don't bet your teams. Don't bet things you're investing in.
Well, I learned that the hard way the other day, and I lost $900 in a 5-way parlay.
Well, you didn't lose $900. You just didn't win $900.
I think the Jets are going to win the first game this week.
I know you didn't. What I'm saying is you just didn't win it. You didn't.
And my recommendation is that I took 2 EPL games that were on Sunday and 3 NFL games, and I ended with the Giants. And the problem was I should have known that they were getting 13.5 against the fucking Rams. Stupid. Now, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I should have known better.
No.
Anyway, you're fucked.
I know. I will tell you. Go ahead.
I wish my bookie had a teaser where he knew what you bet, and then he would just create the opposite fucking parlay.
That would be awesome.
The mush special.
So listen, we have more kvetching to do about the Yankees on the heels of our special show Sunday, because a lot of stupid shit went down after that with the press conference yesterday with Boone and Cashman. So we're going to dissect that shortly. But before we do that, to be fair, and we are like a 50-50 show, we want to be fair. Matthew, this week in Mets world, what's going on?
75-25.
Anything new in Mets land this week? Or are you just in a holding pattern with all this money just waiting to be given out?
Well, we all know that Mr. Cohen is the real life mensch on a bench, because he is made an agreement with all of the part-time employees unions at Citi Field, something the Steinbrenners never fucking did, to give a monthly stipend to all the people affected by COVID who couldn't work this year. he's like Hanukkah Harry handing out money. So as soon as he takes control of the team, he's going to give people some money. Spread a little bit of those 8 days of cheer. Make sure the oil spreads for
last the whole time.
Yeah,
lock is for all. Lock it for all.
That's right. And SNY did do a poll that Mets fans do want Trevor Bauer more than George Springer or Real Muto. Of course, with Mr. Cohen in charge, why not have all? So apparently that got tweeted directly to his agent. But really, we are in holding until we get out of coupons and the lottery ticket gets cashed. So not a whole lot going on. And I think free agency doesn't start until the Rays are tied 3-3 in the 8th. So once they get to the dance, we'll be halfway there.
Here's the thing with the Mets, right? And this is you look back at this historically. The off seasons that are quietest, that's when they come out of the gate the most dangerous. When if you look at them historically,
Joel Sherman had a good thing, and it was, he's prepared to lose $500 million a year for the first few years just to completely revamp the ball club entirely, from analytics to training, things like I forget what kind of cameras that every team has that videotape players in the training rooms and in the batting cage and shit like that I think it cost like $150,000 for the system that the Mets passed on 10 years ago, like $150,000, not $150 million.
Yeah, the body dynamic system.
Yes. Everybody has it. The Mets do not. So something that fucking stupid we can have. So just little shit like that. And I think bringing in Alderson was the right thing because apparently that was a big thing for him. It wasn't just his health, but he felt like he was handcuffed. There was a lot of big changes he wanted to make. So
it's going to be the first change you need to make is your fucking GM and then your manager. And then you can go from there.
Yeah, I think the manager can go either way on, I think it's probably a rough situation for him to be in as a first-time manager, but I think he's a really smart manager and a good one.
But if you make a GM change, then he has a choice.
I agree.
I just wonder who's the GM option for the Mets if you're gutting it. I mean, we're going to beat our walls, I'm sure, here in a little while about what the Yankees are going to do with the GM situation. But the Mets situation, the dynamic is very different. It's a New York ball club, but it's a very different dynamic in how the media and how fans handle their team with the Mets.
You got to grab Theo.
Well, there's been rumors about Theo. There's a big rumor with Billy Beane. Fun fact, a lot of people don't know this. Billy Beane was drafted by the Mets. Played in Tidewater. So... and he has ties to Sandy. So, those are two big names.
Is Sandy going to be like the president or VP or whatever?
Yeah, he'll be Cohen has said that, if he gets control, he's bringing back Alderson as the president of baseball. So, okay. I would be tickled with either one of those guys more so than Cashman, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for Cashman. And I would take him too.
Well, you're not. So one of the things that broke yesterday is Cashman and Boone are coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. That sucks for you guys.
Well, yeah. So that's the least of my problems. We'll get into the details of my problems now, I think. So they held a press conference yesterday with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, and some of the things that were said, not the best. Not the best. So we're gonna dissect this one by one here. So shit, you can't even see that, can you?
Great job. Jesus Christ, what'd you do? Paste these on a piece of paper and scan
There
it?
are Twitter excerpts of the press conference. Oh my god. Okay.
These are the ones that you were trying to give me a stroke at work with you.
Yeah. So listen.
Did this get caught in a copier?
So Hal Steinbrenner says, Our objective was to win the world championship. We failed in that at Denver. In Denver, I can't speak. Does that mean the whole season was a failure? No. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's not what his dad would say.
If your goal is to win the World Series and you have failed with a championship caliber club 3 years in a row now, how could you say your whole season wasn't a failure? What was not a failure? That was your goal. My reaction when I heard that was, we accept mediocrity now with the New York Yankees. We've turned into God, I don't know where to even compare it. The Oakland A's, and they're not accepting mediocrity. What the fuck is this? What was your first reaction with that, Dan?
I mean, his dad never would have said it.
No, you can't say
I don't think it's fair to your fans. I don't think, we've sat through a couple of years of this when, really since 2009. I mean, we've been through the highs and lows and been to championship games and watched Aroldis Chapman give up game series season-ending home runs. And, you have to give your team the resources to win. And if you're not, and you're satisfied with the fact that you made it through a division, or you made it to a division series and lost to a division rival, then maybe there's something you need to reassess there. Because if the Giants, if the Yankees had lost to a division team, any of them, in a playoff series, George would have lost his mind. He would have started firing everybody and throwing things.
Yeah. I think there's a way to say things without saying things, and maybe going and being a little more smoother in the PR aspect would be smart. How about this one? On the team's finances, Hal Steinbrenner said the Yankees sustained significant losses more than any other team in baseball. I don't fucking want to hear about that, Ryan. What do we care?
And that's exactly it. When have we ever given a fuck about this? I mean, we're talking about the most valuable sports franchise, even in a depression. Let's face it, we are in a depression. In a depression that has ever existed. I don't really give a fuck. You guys got deep pockets. Sell the fucking horse farm in Ocala for all I care. Like you're either in it to win it or you're not. Otherwise, get rid of the fucking team because you don't deserve to be called a Steinbrenner. That's the bottom line. And as Yankee fans, I think we have a right to that expectation because we have been groomed for generations to believe and to hold that faith. And Yankees ownership up until recently always encouraged that expectation. And now we're supposed to put the kid gloves on and go, oh, poor Aaron Boone, and oh, blah, blah, this, that, and the other thing. Fuck you, Steinbrenners.
Matt, does it sound like another owner you know?
Well, yeah, it sounds like the Wilpons. But this is, I thought about this when Dan said 2009. So, the Yankees win in 2000 because, Clemens is a fucking wannabe murderer.
It's true.
And then 2001 they can't rally America. But who the fuck is this son of a bitch pulling up in my driveway? Jesus Christ. Can Amazon fucking not have people driving around in Chevys for Christ's sake?
Prime Day.
Seriously.
I thought we were gonna watch a whack live on air.
You could just leave it on the stoop. Thank you.
So take the gun, leave the cannoli.
So you have
oh, my balls tingled. Sorry about
seriously,
that.
It's not even a van, it's an Impala, for Christ's sake.
Hey man, don't hate the guy for making money.
He's coming back for that box.
Delivering your gold bond.
I don't use gold bond. Anyway, so it go 2009. George is dying. They got to win the ring. Fine. So that's one ring in 20 years. Mm-hmm. So before 96, they won in 78. Great year. That's 18 years. Yeah. Like, when was the last time the Yankees had one ring in 20 years? Yeah. Like, that's a long stretch.
It's not 20 years either. It's 21 years. We're in the longest drought ever, actually.
Well, yeah, I guess technically that is 21 years, but like, the 70s they had, they had the Bronx Zoo. They had a little bit of a low in the early 70s. The 60s were right. The 50s, I mean, there's just no time that they had a decade where they didn't win at least a third of the rings available.
Yeah, but they also always went after pitching. Big difference.
Well, yeah. So that's just an interesting thing to point out. I think even under George's leadership, they had that one drought in the 80s. But
when he got suspended? When he got suspended from the league?
Well, it's really the only decade that I could think of that they didn't have one ring or playoff appearance, right? They didn't win anything in the 80s.
They didn't do shit.
Right. So it's an interesting dynamic. It seems like how when the brothers took over, Hank was kind of a little bit more like his old man. Hal was more the brains and the money guy. And I think that's why you're hearing things like, well, we took a bath. The Yankees bit off a lot of shit.
They're businessmen. They're not baseball guys.
No, they are. But they are. And so is the old man. But the old man knew, being the best was a sick formula for having a strong bottom line.
The best way to make money sometimes in this sport is to win. Fans merchandise, you win. And all of a sudden it prints money. That's how the Yankees became the Yankees to begin with, right, Ryan?
Everybody's going to take a bath this year because there's no ticket sales.
Right. So nobody wants to hear the Yankees losing money out of all these teams. Read the room. Read the room.
The problem is how many other Major League Baseball teams are 1/3 owned by hedge funds?
Well, you know what? We don't care who. I mean, the product is
but
the
it
Yankees.
makes a difference. It makes a decision-making difference when you got a couple of bean-counting schmucks at their house in Connecticut who don't even know about the sport making money decisions with you.
If the Tampa Bay Rays even get into the World Series,
the valuation goes through the roof.
Right, but they're not going to care about, we got close. We're going to have to really worry about payroll next year. They're just going to go out there, but the best possible fucking team on the field. And
they got to worry about where they're going to play baseball first off.
Well, I mean, it is kind of funny, though, that Chaim Bloom goes to the Red Sox as some sort of, boy prodigy, and then a bunch of bums that he sort of brought in together are now about to go to the World Series and beat the Astros on their way to do it.
Hey, Dan, I got another quote for you that was kind of disturbing off this press conference. Aaron Boone was quoted, "I still have a ton of confidence in Gary Sanchez," and said Sanchez showed a lot of improvement the last month of the year.
Well, I mean, I guess if you were judging it against the first half of the season, there was only room to improve. I mean, he hit a couple more home runs, and
that's like saying to an infant, "Oh, you walked a step today. Yesterday, you were crawling."
Yeah.
If he can hit 45 home runs a year, I don't give a fuck how fast he comes out of the box. But he can't.
I mean,
stay healthy. He can't even hit over 200. He can't even block a baseball.
Yeah, the defensive outs are, when you're talking about.
I defended him a long time.
I think he was also lumped in with with the Judge and the Stanton and the Torres and all of that, and he had the benefit of the doubt. And I think now that your $325 million ace refuses to pitch to him is probably a big deal. So the fact that they had to bring in Higashioka, who's been with the Yankees for half of my life, is kind of an issue when you're talking about a guy who was an all-star 2 years ago. And, he's a liability in the lineup, and he's a liability behind the plate. And unfortunately, his value is diminished by the fact that he can't fucking hit.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Boone says the offense wasn't much of an issue against the Rays. You're going to have a game in every series where you don't score runs. You're going to have
3 games.
Nothing. Right. Exactly. 3 games, and the last 3 years, the offense has died when it counts the most. So this team literally only has a couple guys you could depend on to hit consistently.
Yeah.
We know DJ LeMahieu, the machine, will hit consistently. Luke Voigt had a great year, but he even went dead in the playoffs, right? Gio Urshela even calmed down in the playoffs. Your best hitters didn't even calm down, and let's not even talk about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the frustrating part, too, is that you go into Cleveland and you beat 2 guys that are serious Cy Young contenders for a shortened season, and you make a statement by crushing the best team in the American League Central. And then you roll in against a team that you won 2 games against in this shortened season, and you come out and beat the shit out of them in the first game, and you look great, and everybody's laughing, slapping each other's backs, and then you just go to put for the next 2 games.
Well, the Yankees have a couple of problems. One, all this first pitch swinging, right? That is a big problem with this team.
Because they're all trying to hit home run.
Exactly.
Everyone.
The arrogance at the plate with the first pitch swing, and every pitcher in the AL knows it. You don't even have to change the playbook or get sneaky with it, because there are at least 5 people in that lineup that are going to swing at 1 and 2, no matter where the fuck that ball is.
When you hear comments, so Matt playing police officer. So when you hear comments like this, Matt, our offense isn't a worry. We're this close. In fact, here's another one. Aaron Boone. I think it's important to realize how close we are to winning a World Series, but you haven't won anything. But they keep talking about how close, and we support the offense. Your first inclination when you hear this, Matt, what does it tell you that they're preparing us for?
You're not going to make any moves. That's
right.
What they're
Thank you.
But this is from an outsider's perspective. I've long said this to you about all the sports teams that we either follow together or don't follow together, including the Yankees. Championships take character. The Yankees teams of 96 to 2001, they weren't murderers row. And even their pitchers, I mean, shit, you won championships with guys like Doc Gooden at the end of his career. Wells, who was, I mean, shit, I could fucking play David Wells in his biopic. For Christ's sake, these guys were guys who were big game players. Derek Jeter's not statistically the best player ever to play the game, but I'll tell you what, he, in my opinion, is like the Mark Messier of the New York Yankees.
Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, these were not. These were not.
You know what?
They're blue collar guys.
Don't fucking come at me with Paul O'Neill.
Okay, but these guys showed up in every game.
It wasn't a strike. It was outside.
He's the warrior.
He's really good on TV. But it goes
guy who
back,
never took a fucking strike.
Listen, it goes back to Sunday when we talked about this core not winning because of the makeup of the team, and we're back at it again, and that's the truth.
I look at the Yankees now. I don't see character. There's only one guy who I see who I think has real character, and that's the fucking kid who wanted Mickey Mantle's number, the kid with the big balls. What's his name? Clint Frazier.
Yeah,
right.
I like Frazier.
Okay,
yeah.
Right, but that's
and he was ostracized for 2 years, 3 years because he had character. Ostracized.
Correct.
And outcasted by this franchise.
But you
do not want to embrace him.
I'm not saying Aaron Judge doesn't have it,
but no,
everybody was like,
it's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Everybody, everyone's like, Aaron Judge, great rookie, he hits the record. 5 years ago, everybody around this time of year knew who Daniel Murphy was because he was just clobbering balls. He wasn't a great home run hitter, but all of his years through the Mets, he quietly played every infield position, and he hit and got on base, and he was just a solid player. He got hurt constantly, played through shit. He was a character guy. The Mets made a huge mistake by letting him go, and he went to the Nationals, and he continued to produce because he got his opportunity on a big stage, and he fucking showed what he could do. Daniel Murphy was a character guy. He wasn't the best player, but
every time the stage is there, someone failed. They fail. Judge can't do it. They can't do it.
You know what, though? And I know I'm living in the past because we're in the days of statistics, and the Yankees they want to spend money on fucking long ball hitters, right? But this team functioned best when we were a hit and run ball club with 1 or 2 30-plus home run hitters, right? And then you fill the gaps with a David Justice for a year where you needed it.
Ruben Sierra.
Yeah, but you know what?
Sheffield.
Yes, that's fucking Tim Raines. I mean, come on. The shit that this team did to win championships, this ownership and management
everyone talks about how this game is turned into a home run game, whatever. Look at Tampa, bunch of fucking nobodies are embracing the stage. Arozarena, I don't know.
Don't speak that name on this show ever again.
You know, what's his face that hit the home run again, that won the fucking off Chapman. I don't know who these guys are.
But that's my point.
Sounds like a hockey player. It's Derek Brassard hit a home run. I don't know.
The problem is that earlier in the season, Chapman had buzzed him, right? And then he comes out and fucking ends the Yankee season. Like, how satisfying must that be for Kevin Cash?
But that's the team has the makeup to show up on the greatest stage.
The Astros just walked off, by the way.
Did they?
Yeah.
So that's 2-2
now? No, it's 3-2. 3-2 Tampa.
Oh God, I can't stomach it. I if they come back and win the series, I'm gonna.
There's some guy in San Diego whose apartment overlooks Petco, and he's sitting there with a megaphone and he's fucking screaming at the Astros all fucking day. It was in the New York Times today. I gotta find the article.
If the Astros come back and do this fucking Red Sox thing, I'm gonna lose my fucking lunch.
Don't put that jinx on us, all right?
You said it. It's done. It's over. Fucking
fucking Malacca.
The only thing that would be good about that would be to see the Dodgers and the Astros go at it, and just watch how many people get suspended by on the Dodgers side.
Oh my God. Okay, so my favorite one here that really made my stomach turn in the press conference. Cashman says,
"Fuck, Jason, what, dude? I'm gonna give you a tutorial in Adobe. Holy shit!
No, this is never mind.
Were you having a seizure when you cut and paste this?
I was trying to be artsy."
Dude, me and Mike Coolidge did a better job selling porn off of a photocopier in high school than this.
God rest his soul.
I miss that guy so much.
My goodness. Wait, you really did porn off of a...
Dude, we got kicked out of school because we were selling Playboy. We were photocopying Playboys and selling the fucking prints.
Dan,
familiar.
Dan got
It's a public program.
Well, I mean,
I was like 16, so forgive me.
Jason's car outside of Barnes & Noble was covered in pornos once.
Oh, that's right. I came out to my car after a closing shift, and it's covered.
Raunchy ones, too. You were out of control, dude. Some people keep that stuff in their trunk.
When I worked for JetBlue, I won't go into the full details, but there was a guy that was a commuter down to Orlando. One day we loaded his rollerboard bag with water bottles and taped all like the most graphic, like stuff that you can't find on mainstream porn sites to the water bottles. TSA had a field day with this.
The bag came out of the
loaded handgun in his bag. Oh, that's good.
So listen, when you get knocked out, you'd like to be knocked out by the eventual World Series champion. I don't want to get knocked out, and if I get knocked out, I don't fucking care who I lose to. I lost.
That's like a high school senior chick saying, "I want to get knocked up by the homecoming gang."
What the fuck is this, Cashman? So I mean, what the fuck kind of comment is this? What is this loser shit?
You guys used to make fun of us for I'd say, oh look, the Mets put up the pennant for the National League Championship Series. You know, that's or the ring ceremony. But that's the kind of shit that you used to make fun of us for.
No, I agree.
That's that kind of sentiment.
The fact that there was a wild card banner that hung at Shea Stadium should be an embarrassment.
Hey, listen, as is this
quote
together.
There is no honor in martyrdom in sports.
Yeah.
You lost.
You win or you lose,
you jump in front of a car to save a 5-year-old, that's honorable martyrdom.
Right.
You lose to the eventual World Series champions, you're shit.
Right. No one remembers who they beat. They just remember that they won.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So you can imagine yesterday that wasn't the best, but now strap in for an off season of nonsense. I'm sure.
An off season of inaction by Cashman, you mean?
Yeah. No.
Just like the trade deadline. I mean, what did the Yankees need to make this team better? They needed another starter this year, right? And they just let it go on. They didn't need a bat, right? They didn't need anybody. They had corner outfielders. They had it all covered. They needed a number 2 or a number 3 starter that could give you 6 innings.
I know the offense failed, but I'm not mad he didn't get a bat because on paper, where were you going to put that bat?
They don't need one. That's what I'm saying. Right. You needed a starter that could take you 6 innings.
You need to learn how to make a plate appearance. That's what they need offensively.
Right.
But Steinbrenner saying we took the biggest bath of any baseball team and any sports team. That's him setting the plate. That is him putting the lettuce down, so that when he friggin' gives us that nice big friggin' meat burger later of nothingness, there's nothing we can say.
And I think the problem was for this team this year is that, Boone had lost confidence in Ottavino, right? 3/4 of the way through the season. So they had nobody. There was the bridge reliever that was supposed to be there.
Hanley got hurt.
Became Chad Green, which is fine. But then they started pulling in the Davy Garcias and the Jordan Montgomerys to bring.
And those guys were they're not ready.
They're not middle relievers. They're fucking starters. And you kept them. And what did you call it? Prospect hugging, right? I mean, Clark Schmidt had an absolutely fucking unreal preseason or run up to the season. And how many innings did he pitch this year?
Yeah.
4, 5. Michael King with a spot start here.
They're playing that entry level contract team control game.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, and you know what? If we were in a place where we were 1/3 of the way up the ladder in terms of contention, I'd be okay with that because you're not doing anything to the psychology of these kids. Because you're not making them think I blew it when it counted. But right now, that's what you're doing. You got to think about the long term, whether these kids end up here or they end up somewhere else. What does that do to their psyche down the road? Because they're going to remember that.
Gary Sanchez.
Boom.
So I have breaking news in New York sports from our Rangers insider.
World War II is over.
Rangers insider Bill Olsen. Oh, by the way, hold on. Before I get into the breaking news,
that's my segment.
If this is about Georgie, we already know he's signed.
No, we have another breaking news on that. Another player has signed. So my listen, one of my favorite Rangers ever, Sean Avery, and Sean Avery's on Cameo. To make a long story short, and Bill was nice enough to have Sean Avery send me a Cameo birthday message. And holy shit, if you go on my Facebook, it's on there. Or if you text me, I'll send it to you. I've never had a better. I mean, it was so fucking cool. I'm sorry.
That guy is unhinged.
I don't know. He has got what's going on. I don't know if he was how much he had to drink and smoke, and the last time he combed his hair. But Sean Avery is a maniac, and I love it. His podcast drops every Wednesday.
He put a Canadian tuxedo on though for you.
He did. No Gruffs Given is his podcast. It drops every Wednesday. And let me tell you, you want some inspiration? You want to feel like you want to run through a wall? Listen to Sean Avery's podcast every Wednesday. It was the best hour and a half you're going to spend. It is such great, entertaining listen. So I had a Cameo. If you want to listen to it, again, go to my Facebook or send me a message and I'll send it to you.
Hey, Mush, just so you know, we got big news. Tony D'Angelo resigned.
That's the breaking news story.
Oh, sorry.
So the Rangers have a history of not taking guys to arbitration. They'd rather settle. So 2 years, $4.8 million for a year for D'Angelo, which is a tradable contract if they want to move on for him this year at the deadline or something.
No, Vegas will do well with that contract when they trade.
It'll be a Ranger on opening night. But I feel like, as the season goes, depending on the development of Keandre Miller, Niels Lundqvist, will determine how long D'Angelo is the Ranger, to be perfectly fair.
He won't make it. He won't make it halfway through the season.
He had a great season. He's improving defensively, but his offense was fantastic.
Well, that's why I'm saying this is. If you're gonna move him, this is the year, not next year.
No, the Rangers, because there's another year of control if you move him this year. So the Rangers have a lot of right-handed defensemen. They are talking about moving him to the left side, which he, could have a problem with based on his viewpoints in life. So we'll see. We'll see if he agrees to move to the left. I don't know. Terrible joke.
You're ready for the Catskills, my friend.
But he has a podcast too that I don't know the name of because I've never listened to it. But I like Tony D'Angelo. But I only listen to so many podcasts a week. All right, I got like a dozen. Okay, going on here. So Tony hasn't made the cut yet.
Must be nice to be retired.
Yeah, I listened to 3 hours worth of podcasts this morning. I had like NASCAR podcasts. Even like I listened to some like fucking strange shit, but it's entertaining. Anyway, that was our breaking news. Thanks to Bill again breaking it for us and sending.
I fucking broke that.
Well, he texted you. You did.
I had it on the tweeter.
On the tweeter.
Oh dear God. Okay. All right. Listen. Closing segment.
Ooh, it's cold out here.
And New York sports is at an all-time low. I think. I mean, I kind of gave a little teaser that we were going to try to rank the 9 New York Metros. By the way, fuck Buffalo. It's a New York name only. You might as well be Canadian. So we're not talking about Buffalo here. Okay? Not the Blue Jays, not the Bills, not the Sabres. Don't care about Buffalo. If you think otherwise, we'll go watch another show. Go watch the Buffalo Snowstorm Hub.
The Snow Bunny Hub. Actually, no. That...
Look, you stole his thunder.
Billy!
Hey, Bill, thanks for the advice on not taking 2 fucking edibles back to back. I'm still playing.
You still don't remember that game, do you?
I could not tell you what the inside of T-Mobile Arena looks like.
Oh, God. That was fantastic. So, current roster and success and the outlook of the next few years and your confidence in leadership. Dan, who's your number 1 team in the New York Metro right now?
You're probably not going to like this, but I'm going to have to go with the Islanders.
I may need to have whatever you had during the Rangers Knights game right now, Matt, because I think I have to agree.
I'm going to say the Nets.
That's still sad. You know, I would never thought I'd see the day where we would be saying the Islanders and the Nets are the best 2 teams in New York.
Yeah, and they both play in
Long Island.
So I feel that honestly, the Islanders, thank God they're getting an arena, built in Belmont. That's a lot of progress. I saw pictures today. That Brooklyn thing is just not where they belong.
You know what though? Here's the thing. That whole thing might get delayed. There's a big lawsuit going on because they won't put natural gas into there.
I don't know. Pictures today look really good though. Like really.
No, but they finished the building. But if you ain't got natural gas, you can't sell $18.
I got natural gas.
Yeah, so do I. But that's a different story.
God bless the unions are still alive in New York City.
I mean, let's go back to the point here that these 9 teams that you have before you, I mean, are an amalgamation of fuckery. So, maybe say Brooklyn, they've got their act together. Maybe, be a competitive team. They got New Jerseys, no pun intended.
Because a new coach and everything. So that's a little
bit. Man. I mean, they're exciting in a way that, I mean, again, I didn't really watch the NBA in any lengthy regard until like 3 months ago, since like 1999. But the Rangers want to generate excitement, and then they go out and bring in terrible defensemen.
Well, if you're talking,
I forgot the Knicks played in New York, the Jets and the Giants.
The Islanders, to me, edge out the Nets because their head coach is the best head coach in the area, maybe one of the best in hockey, with Barry Trotz. And they have an experienced front office and a proven front office. So I feel like they get the edge over the Nets, who have something to prove in that regard, right? Now, if you want to talk most exciting and biggest prospects, then the Rangers rebuild puts them ahead. But we're kind of talking current best, right? So behind those 2, who's your number 3, guys?
The Metropolitans, I would say. The Mets are pretty damn. I don't think the Mets are that far away from having a championship, a team to compete for a championship. I really don't.
Now, after we've bashed the Yankees for 30 minutes, I still have to say, how do you put the Mets ahead of the Yankees when the Yankees made the playoffs again and are way caliber-wise right now, as of today, way ahead of the Mets? How do you put the Mets ahead of the Yankees?
The last 2 years, okay. Take this year's playoff format out of the equation, which, by the way, as much as we may hate it, it's probably here to stay.
Oh my God! Let's not. That's for another show. I'm gonna.
But it is.
You can't have teams under 500. You can't have teams under 500 make the playoffs. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's just stick.
Okay.
We can't.
But all right. So let's look at last year. The Mets had 2 down years since their World Series. They almost came back and made it last year. I don't think they're that far off. They've got a good complement of young players who I think are on the cusp of really. I'm not just talking Alonso, really contributing. You get one more arm and another piece in the field, another outfielder and a decent catcher.
See,
All three things that are very attainable this offseason, and a stable infrastructure in the front office, in the coaching staff. I think the Mets have really just been playing like blind. I don't think 2015 was that much of a fluke. They had the talent.
They still need more pieces than the Yankees. A good catcher's hard to find.
I think you got a ball club right there that, to Matt's point, and it fucking pains me to say this, and I am going to get slammed on Twitter and Facebook for saying this, but you've got a team that knows how to and wants to play baseball. You need an ownership team that people feel like, that players feel like is behind them and not just to fuck them in the ass. And there's a lot of potential with the Mets.
The Mets have, and I think Alonso and McNeil and Thor too, but DeGrom and a lot of these guys, they have character. They have that desire and drive and personality, very similar to what I was saying with the Yankees back in the late 90s. Those are the guys that are like, yeah, no, we don't want to fucking lose. We want to go out and win. And I'm not saying the Yankee players are saying that, but
Yankee players have pinstripes. They don't feel like they have anything to prove.
They have a swagger that hasn't been present in Queens in a long time. Even with the mid 2000s teams, it wasn't really there. And you see it when you follow them closely and you follow the personalities of the players closely. There is what they don't have in talent, they make up with in character. And I think that is an intangible that really makes a difference in crossing over to the next level.
So, Dan, who's third and fourth on your list?
I would have to put the Yankees ahead of the Mets. Sorry, Matt, but you're just a competitive team in a tough division, and then I think the Mets are probably behind them. And then maybe the Rangers in a close fifth, but you don't get the 5-horse in the superfecta, right? So, I mean, maybe that's just because baseball is fresh and we saw what just happened. This short season and. The Rangers are. I get the feeling the Rangers are in sort of a constant state of rebuild.
No, I think it's a rebuild that takes time. I think it takes time. I think we shouldn't forget that this is not something that happens overnight. With that, that regard. So, I agree. I mean, the Yankees are still the better team. Listen, there's a lot to be excited if you're a Mets fan, but a new owner coming in has a lot to prove. I don't care what kind of money he has. The right decisions have to be made. You have to make some decisions off the field with your leadership, and then you have to get the right players. There's more work to do for the Mets than there is for the Yankees. And that's why the Yankees are still over the Mets, I would say. Right? I mean, that's the way I feel.
Okay.
I mean,
I think you could rank the Knicks, Jets, and Giants in any order because they're all.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
I think it goes Rangers, Devils, because the Devils are rebuilding too, lest you forget.
I forgot.
But the Rangers have better pieces and parts and an outlook. So Rangers, Devils, and then trash.
I mean, the Knicks are at the back end.
Well, are they anymore? Are they behind the Jets and Giants now? Or are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we sure? New coach.
Yeah. I think Thibodeau is a good coach, but they're going to need a couple of drafts and time for his system to take place. The Knicks are not going to attract. The Garden is not a place where guys want to come and play like they used to, and the Knicks are going to have to kind of turn a corner. Not to keep using that phrase, but they're going to have to turn a corner before they can start getting that big talent that is out there in the NBA. And once they start playing with a little bit of swagger, we kind of saw this a little bit with the Jazz. The Jazz a few years ago when I first moved here were real shit, and then they got a few good young players, and then all of a sudden you start really building a good team, and you get a few good drafts and a good coach. The Jazz pulled a coach out of the the San Antonio system.
Having fans matters, though, and Utah is a big basketball state.
It is a very big basketball state. But, you know, the Garden is when the Knicks are on, New York is a basketball town. And I'm not saying exclusively. But in the winter, it's a Knicks town.
Right.
If the Knicks are playing decent.
If the Knicks are a championship caliber team, absolutely.
I don't know, man. Have you been to the Garden for a Knicks game in the last 5 years?
No, but I'm saying when they're the preface is they're good. They're good, and it is.
No, you know what? It's all bankers with their clients. The Garden has not had a fan base in 10 years. And I've been to look, and I'm a Heat fan, so there's some bias there, obviously.
How did that happen?
Pat Riley, dude.
Yeah. Let me tell you. You know what? And that,
biased.
you know what? Is there one person that a New York sports franchise regrets more letting go than Pat Riley? The Knicks.
I'd still be a Knicks fan if he stuck around. If
one guy in New York sports that letting this guy go really destroyed a franchise.
Think
Riley. About it.
Mike Keenan.
No, the Rangers didn't fall off a cliff right away, and he was a coach. It was a little bit different. Like Riley is more than a coach, right? Riley mastermind. He's a franchise leader. He's a visionary.
Listen,
right?
Down here in Miami, Riley is a god.
Yeah, I don't buy Parcells because the Giants won Super Bowls. He didn't do anything for the Jets, so that shouldn't be. And the Giants won Super Bowls without him, so I don't buy Parcells.
Here's the thing about Parcells. Here's the thing about Parcells. Parcells built kind of a dynasty within his coaching staff. Let's not forget about Tom. Let's not forget, Coughlin was part of that.
Bill Belichick.
And by extension, Judge is a prodigy because he's a Belichick prodigy.
Right. And a Saban prodigy.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think, especially, if you have not seen the two Bills, you don't realize what kind of reach he had. Coughlin definitely grew up in that world. So
you know what though, if you want to take it to that point, right? Tuna has probably had more impact on the NFL in its entirety over the last 30 years than any other one person, period. Because if you think about it,
Belichick.
What?
Belichick.
No, I mean he's coming out of that coaching
prodigy.
tree.
Yeah, okay. So he just in the tree.
He brought
Andy Reid maybe could be on that list.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Was Reid one of his guys?
But to that point,
no. I mean, you were saying from a coaching tree point of view,
yes.
right?
Yeah, right. Correct.
But to say that as a new, that no one has had a bigger impact on New York sports, I disagree.
No, it's the impact. I said biggest regret in letting go by leaving had a negative impact.
No, I mean we could do a whole show on coaching trees because now this is very interesting.
By him getting him leaving the Knicks, the biggest
basketball died. New York basketball died when Pat Riley came down here to Miami. Period.
Well,
end of story.
I'll say this, and I hate we all know how much I hate the guy, but did the Yankees do the right thing by choosing Girardi over Mattingly?
Yes. Mattingly would have been sticky. That could have been bad. I didn't want to see that.
Mattingly's a good manager.
I'm not denying that. But we're not going to go down that path again. And he had a hell of a year, but I did not think at the time that was the right move, bringing a legend in to coach this team. I was fine with the Girardi move, and he won a World Series. I mean, he wasn't bad. I have no problem with Joe Girardi.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. I wouldn't give him a statue.
No. There's only a few that get a statue. Casey Stengel, Joe Torre, but it's hard to be on that level, No, but coaching tree is a great freaking topic for a show, Dan.
I think that's one I think we need to do the research on, though. Like I think that's one of those shows where we're going to go 2 hours easy.
because it's a lot going on there. So, all right, what do we got going on, Dan, this weekend? What's your highlighted sports events that you're looking forward to?
The car race, football.
Alex Bowman at 2,100 to win.
I like that. There's EPL's back next week or this weekend. They were in a country, the national team break last weekend. So you got your soccer fix on Saturday morning, and then you got college football. There's a college football game on tonight. For all of you, Alabama, Georgia is this weekend, right? Which is supposed to be the highlight SEC game. And my understanding is that Mr. Saban, with his COVID, will not be allowed in the stadium for the game. Not to say that he doesn't communicate, telepathically to his assistants or anything as the Dark Lord of the SEC, but it's going to be interesting with him not in the building. You get your college football. I mean, I think the NFL this weekend, I don't even know. The Giants are playing the fucking Redskins. Probably Sunday.
The football club.
Whatever, the football team. I think Sunday might be a red zone day for me, and that's all right. We got some fucking playoff baseball if that's what you want. But I mean, look, we're blessed. We got the chance to watch all these sports now. The NFL doesn't give a flying fuck about COVID. I mean, they're putting people in the stands. The SEC doesn't care. Enjoy it while it lasts because, chances are. And what next? Was it this weekend? What are we talking about? This weekend? No, it's next weekend. Next weekend, the Big Ten comes back. So, and then they'll carry the Pac-10, whatever, the Pac-12, and, the rest of college football with them. So, the Big Ten next week is going to go 10, what would we say, 8 games, right? 8 games that end on December 19th. So, everybody's minding their P's and Q's. So we're almost there. I mean, that will fill out the football slate. I mean, you won't have to watch fucking Arkansas State play Georgia State on a Thursday. And you're betting on teams you've never fucking heard of. So NFL should be a good, like Matt said earlier, the margin or the lines are slim. Why is there no NFL game tonight?
I think it was a COVID reschedule.
Is that what happened to shift?
I'm losing track of them because the Falcons were shut down.
We got Tuesday night football, but no Thursday night football. That was the thing. I mean, I was saying like the when they had to move Daytona to Monday because of the jet dryer thing. Yeah. Like NASCAR killed those ratings on that Monday night. No football. People are looking for shit to do. So, it'll be a good weekend again of sports. And, it's going to be nice here in New England. So, here's to you, boys.
And it's a nice fall weekend. Ryan, anything going on in Miami that we need to know about?
Nah, nothing. I will be mostly off the grid with the lady, and that'll be the ball game. So I won't be paying attention.
Oh, sounds good to me.
What's the temperature down there in Miami right now?
87 degrees. A mosquito bit my ball sack before. Otherwise, I'd be outside broadcasting.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's just fucking atrocious.
I know. I feel bad for you,
Matthew. Anything going on in your weekend coming up, sports or otherwise?
Can we wait before we go to Mr. Soriano? My advice is, and based on my personal experience 2 weeks ago, add at least one English Premier League game into your parlay for NFL football.
Yeah.
Pick some. I mean, if you know the top 5 teams in EPL: Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, all that. If you find long odds, Tottenham for whatever reason played Manchester United 2 weeks ago and was getting 300 on that. They won 7-1.
Oh, wow.
And they're a good team, right? They're competitive. They have a 67,000 person stadium in fucking England. So if you can mix that in, it'll push your value up. I'm done. Sorry, Matt.
I'm looking for the Jets to win their first game this weekend against the Miami Dolphins.
Also, no, you can't. I picked up Fitzmagic for my fantasy team because Russell's on a bye.
With your luck, he's going to break his leg and Tua comes in and then fucking wins the game.
On paper, it's a great pickup.
Yeah,
so, let me tell you something. If things keep going the way they're going in New York football, I'm putting a Dolphins jersey on pretty soon.
Well,
here's the question, right? Would you be so? This is not a personal question, but if the Jets are in town this week, right down there,
Yeah.
would you go to the game?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Are tickets discounted by any?
They are. They're insanely dirt cheap down here because the problem
Florida?
is because DeSantis opened everything up, but you got 80% of the population down here is either geriatric or like me has a friggin' autoimmune disease, so everyone's afraid to go out in public.
Right.
So you can get tickets for $20-$30, good tickets too.
Imagine if those games were on a Friday night. It'd be really cheap.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd go to a game if we want to bring the show on the road and come down here and do a Sunday special one weekend.
I'm in for it.
I'm not getting on an airplane for a while. Sorry.
Oh, what was that? 40 people, less than 40 people have been traced to had a problem from an airplane. What was that? And then I even said, I don't know how you know that,
because the contact tracing in this country is so exceptional. You would be able to know exactly where everybody was when they got COVID.
Exactly. All right.
You have pilots in flight, getting sick and going to the hospital, but only 40 people.
Well, we're excluding them from the numbers.
That's right. They're over here. They work there.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
They don't pay to fly. We pay them.
But I would go. No, I would go because they're not selling everything, and it's not like you're getting that 80,000 people in that building.
Well, and you know what? They're actually, for as much smack as I talk about how Florida has been handling the COVID situation, when you actually go out and about town, people do a pretty good job on their own of policing themselves. Like I gotta give, like I knock my lovely home city quite a bit for a lot of things, but people are pretty decent with respect to the mask wearing and actually washing their hands and.
Well, clearly nobody's going out in public if you're willing to wear that shirt outside. So
I wore this just for you guys tonight.
Were you waiting, Dan? Were you really waiting like an hour and 15 minutes for that line?
No, I mean, now that I know you live in Miami, I fully understand.
That was awesome.
You're like the guy from Something About Mary.
Is that hair gel?
Yeah, not that guy, the other one. With
the
teeth. Anyway, but it's interesting. Like, it's funny to see fans in the stands of these games because you're just sort of adjusted to it. I mean, my 6-year-old watches a movie that was 6, 7 years ago, and he's like, "Oh, those people they're not socially distancing." I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Oh my god!
Is it weird though? Am I the only one? Like, I watch you watch like shows from before COVID or like reruns of and you say, and you're like, "Whoa!"
They're too close together. Yeah. Even my wife and I have been watching Ozark, and it's like, oh my god, they're like, why are they they're going to a bar? Oh my god, not that there are any rules in Missouri anyway. But
what did you think about the NLCS? There's fans there.
No, I think it's Texas, right?
They don't give a shit.
Texas is like Florida on steroids.
We walked into the sports book at the I think it was the fucking Bellagio, and I sneezed. Yeah. And fucking 4 people looked at me like they wanted to have me escorted out of the building. Like
you already look like you half dead anyway.
Well, this is true, but like I was like, Jesus, I was like, I'm sorry, I got a mask on. Relax, people.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, around here, like we send kids to, the kids are my kids in school like 2 days a week, and it's like, oh wait, he wiped his nose, get him the fuck out of here. It's like he's 6 years old. Jesus Christ.
You can't just have a cold anymore. You can't just have allergies anymore.
So, pro tip, by the way, and I cannot be held legally responsible by our viewers and listeners for this. If you're someone like me who has body temperature issues, rub a little rubbing alcohol on your forehead before they take your temperature.
I'm disturbed by the whole. Whatever you just said, I don't know. I don't know anything.
Listen, I'm not taking any fucking chances.
It's like putting a penny under your tongue if you get pulled over, right? I've heard that word
listen to me, people.
It neutralizes the alcohol.
What else can you get pulled over, Jason? Come on, tell us.
That's our mess.
Just put your yarmulke over your face.
Yeah, like it's Friday. I gotta get home.
This damn Manischewitz wine.
I gotta get home before the sundown because I can't use the electric.
Mister, I know you. I know you're. You know, completely unrelated, but I have no idea why this keeps popping up. But the fucking Amazon ads that pop up on Facebook.
What is it?
It's the Shabbos Goy switch cover, so you don't fucking hit the.
Oh yeah, why are you getting those?
I have no fucking clue. It's probably because I watched some fucking video where Mario Cuomo was talking about he was a Shabbos Goy. They used to go around to the fucking people and shut off their fucking power on Saturdays.
That's awesome.
But now this thing pops up once a day telling me, oh, do you want to buy this fucking all the Shabbos accessories?
Well, I mean, the other day I was walking around the house like thinking about getting a mattress, and all of a sudden I have like fucking 90,000 ads for every kind of mattress there is. I didn't even say it out loud.
Wish ads that show up on my Facebook.
God. Oh my
Notice
God.
how Jason's just letting that one go. He's like,
Because he knows me too well.
or he doesn't want to admit what's on his Facebook.
Come on, share your feed, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, where is the race this weekend, Jason?
Fuck. Oh, it's in Kansas. I should know that because I've been iRacing at Kansas all week. Because they follow the schedule. iRacing, which is a racing simulator online. You race humans. Guys, I don't have a job, okay? And this is what I do for hours every day. And then they follow the NASCAR schedule. So I've been racing trucks at Kansas all week.
But yet you didn't get any of the barbecue. So who lost there?
But you can't go to Kansas.
Or the co-eds. Different part of the state.
Fucking disaster.
Why does Eric know that you have the meat sweats? That's weird.
Oh, because I wrote on thank you for my birthday thank you on Facebook for everyone's messages, and I ate at Fogo de Chao on my birthday, so I had the meat sweats after, and I admitted to that because I'm very transparent.
Was the restaurant
The Brazilian guy or
what?
From the Brazilian guy or
No, the Brazilian guy's meat
Brazilian,
sweat on
Brazilian meat from the Brazilian meat.
It's like the old Paulie Walnuts joke, you know?
Hey.
Do you remember your first blowjob? How long did it take the guy to come?
I'm glad.
I can't.
This thing went off the rails quicker than the fucking Metro North.
Welcome. After the 1 hour mark, it's all downhill.
Yeah.
It's Grand Central Sports Hub After Dark.
Yeah.
I'm ordering things on Amazon as you guys are talking.
Taxi cab confessions.
We're not the MTA. This isn't going your way.
I'm gonna look at.
That was a great
week, Matt.
Dan, that was a great show. Taxi cab confession.
Yeah. I mean, when you didn't have to, like, when you went, if you didn't have HBO and you went to a hotel and they had HBO, it was that in like what, Real Sex?
Yeah.
Oh, that was another great show.
Yeah, you know, it's a shame that cable went digital. I think I lamented this on my Twitter feed a couple of days ago. For $100 cash to the cable guy, you had everything you wanted for the rest of your life until the cable companies got smart.
Ryan, did you ever have like the box that was scrambled and you tried to watch Spice in between the
of course
lines?
Of course, you had to be ready real quick for that one.
All right, we need a lock of the week on the NFL here, Matt.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up my.
I mean, the Bucks getting 2.5 at the Packers in Tampa. I like that. I like the Dolphins. This is 9.5. I don't really like that. The Giants. I cannot believe the Giants are fucking favored on the reservation there in Washington.
Oh, you're gonna get a suit.
I'm gonna be honest. I have been winning a lot. Cleveland getting 3.5 in Pittsburgh. Cleveland's been on fire. Pittsburgh's got the best defense in the league, but Cleveland's been a solid winner for me. Jason, stay the fuck away from that one.
I wouldn't touch the Cleveland Steelers.
Defense is too good.
I like the Bears getting 2.5 at Carolina too.
I'm actually seeing that at 1 too.
My guys got it at 1.5.
I'm looking at Yahoo here. I should probably look on the draft.
Oh, Yahoo has it at 1 on my Yahoo app.
Well, I don't have a line on the Patriots Broncos game. Probably because they didn't know it was going to get played until it'll.
New England given 10.
Wow.
What a world we live in.
Yeah, I think the Browns.
Hank, cut it out.
I think that's going to be a closer game than you think.
Hank.
I think the Browns.
I like the Browns. I like that too. I like it, Matt. I like it.
Yeah. I'm
let's
gonna
see.
say
And what are they? They're
4-1 right now, and I think you mix that in with the Bears. The Bears getting 1.5 against the Panthers. It's a nice little parlay.
Yeah, one. I mean, the Bears are favored. They're even money on the money line. So
see, I got no money line. My guy doesn't want to fuck around with that.
I mean, 2.5. The Giants are favored. I don't know. This is a weird word. You're right. This is a weird
line. Jacksonville's getting 3 from the Lions.
Let's see here.
That's a low number for the Lions. I bet
the Bills plus 180 against the Chiefs. I don't like that. I don't know.
I think the Lions will obliterate the spread against Jacksonville.
That would also go against Mush's picks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You picked the Jags right there, Jay-Z.
Hey, Mush, did you fall asleep?
No, I'm
Mush.
I'm sticking with my pick of the week is going to be the Browns.
Like it.
Yeah, lock it in. Jason, I will know if you bet that game.
no,
So will everyone else.
I have placed my bets for the weekend, and I shared those, and we're good. We'll review them next week.
And I mean, just for reference, from the EPL, Arsenal is somehow a 5.25 underdog against Manchester City. Just throwing that out there.
And they're a better. You're telling me they're better. I don't know shit about soccer.
I mean, Man City is they won the league last year or 2 years ago. Excuse me, Liverpool won last year, but they've been playing like dog shit this year. And 5.25 in a parlay is going to make you get your value if something if lightning strikes and they end up winning.
Wow, shit. I mean, with a parlay, you can make a lot of money just on a $15 bet. So
just saying.
Okay.
I mean, I bet $10 or it was $20 on that. I had 2 EPL games. They both won. The Bills came in, the Bears came in, and the Giants fucked me for $900.
Yeah, the
so
Giants
you're talking a $20 bet.
It went down to that game. Unreal.
That's how you feel a win.
It was yeah. I'm sorry. That was rough. All right. Better luck to us this weekend. It's been fun. And I guess we'll do it again next week.
All right, boys.
Good.
Later.
Have a good night, everybody.
Adios. Vaya con Dios.